Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm a boomer. You're welcome. Kind of a bit of a joke, but then again, not so much. What I want to do is I'm going to share my story, my life with you little by little. So we're going to unpeel it and bring you up to maybe up to current times or something close. So it'll be a bit like an autobiography. But I think it's important that two things. One is I'd like you to know who baby boomers truly were. I'm only going to represent a percentage of them, of course, so I can only tell you my story. I can't tell you everybody's story, but I like you to follow mine, which will begin with European ancestors who immigrated to the U.S. for a better life. And they did. And we're going to start very shortly. I'm going to lead you into where I came from. And you can kind of see how my ancestors wanted to make sure that their children, their children's children, etc., had something better than them. They wanted this thing called the American dream. At the end of it, we'll have to see, did it really happen? Uh, did we achieve the American dream? Is our life better than last generation, etc.? I think, in my case, I believe that's true. But we're going to go ahead and again, we're going to start with me. Where did I come from? My name is Dennis, by the way. Where did I come from? How did I get here? And where did I go after I was born? So anyway, I'm very proud of where I've come from and where I went. And I do want you to know, I know that from time to time I read, I see, I hear people make fun of baby boomers. We, baby boomers, came from what had been called the greatest generation. I think they were. I think my parents' generation was a major changing force, and I think World War II changed them dramatically for a whole variety of reasons. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to explain some of those and see what you think. But as they came forward, uh, my parents' generation, they brought with them a life that was fairly simple and kind of an incremental change from their parents and from their parents' parents. So I'll tell you what, do me a favor, sit back, relax, and I'm going to keep each one of the chapters or the videos kind of short in nature, but I ask you to follow along with me and see how where we came from again and where we went. So do me a favor, enjoy. Well, hello everybody, and welcome to I'm a Boomer. You're welcome. So I already explained a bit in the introduction. So let's start out with me being born and where the heck did I come from? Yes, I know that story, but this one is where were my ancestors? Where'd I come from? Well, the picture you're looking at is uh, over here is a tenement. This one actually is not the one I lived at. This one is across the street and I think down one block. Uh, but it's the same. All the tenements were the same. They were somewhere in the neighborhood of 370 square feet. They had a living room, kind of, sort of a room, and that room would be where the fire escape is, because that was our air conditioning in the summer was sleeping on the fire escape. But anyway, so we had a front room. We had a kitchen. Kitchen also had our tub in it, so you needed everybody to get out of the apartment if you knew when you needed to take a bath. And then ours was a railway room, so that means that in our case, we actually had two bedrooms, really, really, really small bedrooms. And then we were lucky. We had an indoor toilet. My godmother actually lived in the next building, and her toilet was in the hallway with the old chain and all that stuff. But anyway, we had indoor toilets, so that's why we had a 375 square feet. And we'll talk more about this in the next episode about we really had an ice box. So anyway, so there's the tenement building. And if any of you ever get a chance and you want to find out more, there's a tenement museum in New York City. I highly recommend it. I've been there, and I had never thought that where I lived when I was first born would become a museum, but it did. So we're going to move on here. And let me show you this picture is that front room where the fire escape is over here. And in this case, this is me as a little kid. That's one of my cousins. She lived up on the fifth floor, so you have to. All of our relatives lived in the same area. So anyway, she lived in the fifth floor with my other cousin and my aunt and uncle, and that's my brother. So that was my older brother here. And I don't know who else is in the picture, but you could see that there was a little, like an area rug. I see this here. From what I remember, this was the radiator. So I'm not positive if that's what it was. If it was, I can't tell you how hot it got, the radiator. But anyway, so that was the front room, and you could see just the three of us took up most of the room. It was very, very small, but of course it was comfortable. Here are my parents, and this was their wedding picture. And so they were married back in 1944. And they this is interesting, and we're going to talk a whole lot more about it. I'm not going to do religion and politics, but what was interesting is my dad Irish, Irish and German, but mostly Irish, and my mom fully Italian. My mom was the first one born in the United States, actually, and they actually got married in the Irish church, which was St. Michael's, instead of St. Raphael's. I don't know why, but anyway, we're going to even talk more about that. I'm showing you this picture because there was a song in the 1960s called Up on the Roof. Uh, this is it. I can't tell you how many photos I have of the roof because the more I thought about it, there was no place else to really take a picture. If you wanted your family or what you want, my parents' wedding photo that you saw, most of them were taken on the roof. That one happened to be, I don't know where, I think it might have been where they were married, but I'm not positive. So in this picture, there's my grandfather, the Irish grandfather, my grandma, and she was half Irish, half German. There's my dad up here, and here is my mom. So this is one of the typical roof pictures. And as we talk more about it, I'll tell you how that tar was walking around on it. It was horrible in the summer. This is my Italian grandpa, and interesting, he could not read or write, grandpa. He was so smart. He was, I remember they had a little Victrola. They were called Victrolas. And he had a little Victrola, and he played opera on it all the time when I came over. And you could see here the fire escape out the window here. And Grandpa sat there because there was another window over here. And we'll talk about that also because that other window happened to be one of the home run positions for stickball. And that became important in my life as I made lots of friends thanks to Grandpa. Grandpa was from a very small village in the south of Italy. It was about 60 miles from Naples and well south of Rome. And he was a farmer. Think he was on an olive farm. I'm going to go visit this year, so I'll know for sure. I even have his address. But anyway, so this is that front room that you guys saw. Grandma and Grandpa lived directly across the hall from us. Again, we'll continue to talk about this because this was the way it was. This particular neighborhood was where the building we're in that I'm showing you was literally an all Italian building, but right next door, going down just a block, a half a block was all Irish. Across the street was all Greek, and down I think 3 blocks was all German. So I remember all that from when I grew up because you didn't always cross the street to go into another neighborhood. So anyway, there's Grandpop. I love Grandpop. And here is my Saint Grandma. Grandma was from a smaller village. It was so small they called it a hamlet in a town just next to where Grandpop was. So the towns were kind of sort of connected by a little dirt road. And she was also a farmer. Grandma was, and she was. After they got married, they both lived on a farm, and they lived, I believe, on the olive farm. Grandma was on a tomato farm, however, before she met and married Grandpa. So that was my grandma was so neat. She talked good English. They all Americanized their names, and I'm going to talk about that also. So I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff like that. Their goal was to Americanize their names and live the American dream, and I think they did. I really think they did. So anyway, as years would go on, I'm going to teach Grandma English, and Grandma's going to teach me Italian. But there's even more. So my grandparents came over right around 1920 through Ellis Island. They came individually because Grandpop worked in the U.S. first, typical probably of today's immigrants too, and got the money, and Grandma came over. So we're going to keep moving on. This is my great grandmother. So this is her first name was Maggie. Her real name was Margaret. She did not go by Margaret. Once she got in school, every document I find from her, her name was Maggie. Even her marriage certificate, she was Maggie. So Maggie was a silk worker by trade as she was growing up with her sisters. And I'm leaving a lot of this out because I'm going to tell you just a little bit more about it. But I want you to get the picture of this family and where I actually came from and the melting pot that New York City is. So Grandma Maggie, the sad story would be Grandma lived the longest of any of her family to the age of 57. None of her brothers lived beyond the age of 3. Her sisters died well before her. Her dad died at 42, but her mom, I believe, was 56. I think she was 56, Ellen. So anyway, uh, Grandma, this picture is around 1895 that it was taken. And one more person we're going to meet today is great grandpop John. Great grandpop John was, I don't know if you could tell from the picture, again, 1895 ish. John was a piano mover, and that was his trade. He came over from Ireland in 1888. I have difficulty finding a lot of detail before he married great grandma Maggie. Uh, our name was common uh, in Ireland and therefore common in the U.S. And 1888, Ellis Island was not yet open. So unfortunately, that left some to be desired. And the 1890 census burned. So even the police census from New York City in 1890 didn't quite have all the information I needed. But I'm going to give you some information about them and let you know where they came from. But anyway, he came over in 1888. Unfortunately, great grandpa died in 1902 at the age of 42 of pneumonia. There's a story that it dealt with delivering a piano. It was raining out. He caught a cold, etc., etc. There is my family. Let's go all the way back here to the very beginning. All of my family lived in these same types of homes. um, and kind of all around each other. And so I'll put a map up in the next video and give you a bit more detail about where we came from. So this area was known as Hell's Kitchen. I know that growing up, I never really left our particular avenue street much to go to other areas. Um, and even when I moved, we're going to talk about my move to New Jersey, all the way across the Hudson River, where I could still see New York City. But anyway, we'll talk more about it. So I was a baby boomer. My father, his brothers came back from World War II and started families. And so that's why we were baby boomers. That generation, neat people, never, ever, ever talked about the war, where they were, what they did. They just came back and got on with work and life and families. Hey guys, I hope this is a little bit intriguing to you and interesting to see where my generation of people came from, where they grew up, who their ancestors were, what a baby boomer is all about. Were we good people? Were we bad people? Were we a good generation, a bad generation? Uh, Time will tell. But anyway, I'll tell you what I did and what my life was like and see what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back.